Welcome to Onecraknews. It's your boy Karceno here. Don't forget, if you want to support the page, definitely hit up the Cash App. It's Karceno on the Cash App. And let's get into it. Dana White. And how this bozo has screwed up the UFC. We've talked about it for many years. A lot of people are starting to see it now, more than ever. As I told you, time is the greatest teacher of everything. Time. Just give it time. It's all going to happen. Now, we look at situations such as the UFC, and as far as it putting money before talent. And when you put money before the talent, and you're just raking in the dough and making all this money based on future endeavors, contracts always can be restructured. Don't ever forget that. And since the Furtadas got out because they realized a lot of this stuff is going to fall back on them financially, they sold the company. And everybody's like, well, why would they sell the company that's doing so great? It doesn't make sense. Because they look at the future. Okay? The commoner looks right at the now. Business billionaires, they're 5-10 years ahead of you. When they got out because they saw this. And they didn't need this type of headache. When the UFC did the Reebok deal, it was the beginning of the end. Okay, they did a 6-year, $70 million contract in 2014. And it started crushing the fighters who had their individual sponsorship deals. Like Cowboy had Budweiser and things like that. And it's crippling their money because now they can only show their product on non-UFC events unless UFC gets some sort of a cut off of their merchandising is bad enough. UFC don't pay them enough. So the pay structure was put out once the deal was announced. The first 5 fights, you get $2,500. Then it's $5,000 for 6 through 10. 11 through 15 is $10,000. 16 through 20 is $15,000. 21 fights or more is $20,000. Title challengers get $30,000, and the champions get $40,000. So once that was put out, it's like, look, this is getting out of hand. Like this pay structure for these, sponsorship deals are just nuts. And, a lot of people spoke out about it. You remember how Brendan, which put him in a bad situation with Dana. And then you got to look at the payment of the fighters. You had people like Nate Diaz. 202 was one of their biggest selling pay-per-views until the one that we just saw with Conor and Khabib. So once Diaz and McGregor fight in the rematch, they only paid Nate $2 million. Conor McGregor made $3 million. So you start to see things go left. It's like, well, they made bonuses. UFC raked in a lot of money, but the fighters did not. Then you gotta look at the third thing, being sold to William Morris Agency. When they bought this for $2 million, they turned it into a $1 billion industry. And they basically raked in the rewards of an investment. $4 million, $4 billion, pretty good hefty chunk of the investment. Dana got a lump sum amount of money. And that was the first time Dana White really raked in a lot of money. Like made him a multi-millionaire off of this deal. I know a lot of you would have believed Dana was super rich before. He was rich, but not like this kind of rich. So now he's even more dangerous. Now you got a new situation to deal with. A new crazy tyrant who are dealing with people who, for the first time, you don't know if they know what they're doing. And they put Dana in charge to run the operations, but, the day-to-day matches while they deal with the business. And things are just, not been so good. Because they have too many UFC events. And the biggest problem they've come across right now is that a lot of these cards don't make any money. And then they're having lack of superstars. Where before the company has thrived because they had super talent and superstars in which they could market around. And now they don't have that because guys are leaving. They're looking for that new McGregor, new Rousey. And all the moves they've been making has been absolutely terrible. Now some guys are going to Bellator, and you can't blame them. Can't blame them at all. And now you got this ESPN Plus deal. The ESPN Plus deal, back in March, they announced that all pay-per-views are going to be going through ESPN Plus. Okay, now that all the deals are going through ESPN Plus, and you did that for like 1.5 billion, plus you got another something billion added on, this presents a problem for the fans, and who now got to go through ESPN app to download it when you're dealing with fans that basically don't work like that. They're like, look, I don't do that. Slim Jim Bimmy don't do apps. Your fan base is the biker gang. They're not trying to download an app. So now they got to try to watch a pay-per-view on Slim Jim Bobby's app. Don't worry, Al Heyman's laughing all the way to the bank because he's got all this money coming in up front, and he's cutting Floyd his check out of the whole deal, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. So while UFC depends on one big event to fatten their pockets, they're stuck in a position now where they got to do something major. But now you're going to see the wheels have already fallen off, and the results is coming soon. I'm out.